Hi, I'm Rebecca Alcantara, and of course, this video is going to be about fireflies, aka lightning bugs. Alright, so taxonomy of fireflies. Their domain is eukaryote, and of course, their kingdom is an animal. Phylum, arthropod, class, insects, order, Cleopatra, aka the beetle family. Their family is Lampieridae, and I remember that because the word lamp is in the name. For the genus, they have 144 genera that have been described, and species, there's over 2,400 species worldwide that have been described. Within North America, there is around 200 species. So there are three types of fat flashing fireflies. Not every kind of firefly flashes, but those that do, there's three types of them. The first one is Photinus. They're small, about a half inch in length. There's around 15 species of this family that live in the New England region of North America. Um, they produce a yellow-green flash that's dimmer compared to the other types of flashing fireflies, and they're most active around dusk or during the nighttime. The second kind of flashing firefly is called Pyractomina. It's distinguished by the ridge that runs down the middle of their protonum, which is just their head shield here. They're also roughly a half inch in length, and they're distinguished mostly from their amber-colored flash, as you can see. And again, they're also primarily active at night. Um, Finally, we have Photurus. They're larger compared to the other two and can grow up to an inch long. They have long, slender legs, and you can see they're hunched around their shoulders over here. They have a light stripe running diagonally down their elytra. Their elytra is just the wing covers. Their flash is noticeably greener and brighter than the other two as well. So firefly distribution patterns, they're found on every single continent except Antarctica, of course, primarily in temperate and tropical regions of the world. Within North America, as you can see, the hotspots are in the eastern United States and Central America. Down here on the bottom, this map shows how or what's the best time of year for fireflies to be out. So you can see in our region, in Southwest Virginia, primarily out between June and July. Now, this link, uh, Firefly Atlas, is something that I found. It's very interesting. It'll show you different firefly populations that have been found, or sorry, tracked. Um, and it's very interesting. You can play around with it through different years, different months, and just see what types of fireflies have been observed in your area. So the anatomy and physiology of a firefly. So of course this isn't a firefly right here, but it'll have similar gas exchange system. You can see its tracheals. It's how they've taken their oxygen. You can see it go just spreads all throughout their body. And then over here, you can see their lantern. It's their organ. It's on different segments of their body. It's the translucent cells that will allow you to see the light. And we're going to be talking about bioluminescence next. Um, Now, bioluminescence, it's um, made from oxygen, nitrogen, ATP, and the magic ingredient is luciferin. So the lightning bug diverts oxygen into its light cells through its tracheals. The organ that contains light cells are enclosed in translucent exoskeleton. The oxygen molecules react within it, and the luciferin is a compound that generates light. Luciferase is the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction. Cool light is almost entirely the product from this reaction. You can see my poor drawing of this reaction taking place. So the oxygen comes in through the tracheals, it reacts with the luciferin, and it catalyzed by the luciferase, and that creates entirely light instead of like producing heat as well as light. It's just light. Then up here, something I found interesting. It was from a study that was observing how heat affected bioluminescence, and on the right, the left here is under typical conditions, how it would normally flash, and on the right is when excessive heat is applied to it, um, it'll turn into this more ambery color. So the life cycle of a firefly, of course, starts with mating. Male fireflies seek mates by flying around and flashing. Females rest on vegetation and generally do not fly. When a female sees a male of her own species, she answers by flashing back to him in the same flash pattern. Females choose their mates, and of course, if she doesn't respond to the male's flash, he cannot find her in the dark. Over here you can see the females are typically quite a bit bigger than the males as well. Down here, you can see she's on the vegetation because the females typically don't fly, only the males fly. So something interesting that distinguishes each species is their flashing pattern. So you can see their flash period is from the beginning of the first blink to the beginning of the second blink. The flash interval, some species flash numerous times within their flash period. So the flash interval is just the break in between each flash. And then the dark phase is like, separates the flash periods. And of course, the flash duration is how long the flash is visible. So back to their life cycle. A few days after mating, a female lays her fertilized eggs just below the surface of the ground. The eggs hatch 3 to 4 weeks later. The larvae feed until the end of summer. Then the fireflies hibernate over the winter during the larval stage. Some do this by burrowing underground, while others find places on or under bark of trees. The larvae emerge from hibernation in the spring, and after several weeks of feeding the pupate for 1 to 2.5 weeks, they emerge as adults. Now, this is just a good image to demonstrate their life cycles. Of course, their eggs turn into larvae, turn into pupate. They can go into hibernation in different areas, and then they finally emerge as adults. So lightning bugs in the Appalachian regions. A famous example is the Great Smoky Mountain Firefly Show. It's called the Elkmont Synchronous Fireflies. Um, it's the specific species found is called Photinus carolinus right here, and they are the only known synchronous species in North America. The image right here on the bottom, this just demonstrates what synchronous fireflies look like. I don't believe this one is from Elmont specifically, but the picture on the right here, this is from Elmont. And there's in June, this is when the firefly show occurs, and if you're interested, you can enter into like a lottery and have the opportunity to go and see this. Of course, it's limited like that for conservation efforts to preserve this natural beauty. Finally, threats and conservation efforts of fireflies. Fireflies are facing threats from habitat loss, pesticide use, ecotourism, and light pollution. Of course, with the ecotourism, many of the females, like I mentioned, they aren't able to fly, and of course, neither are the larvae. So if you're walking around, placing chairs down, whatever, you have the risk of killing and stepping on these fireflies. And with light pollution, around bright lights, many flashing fireflies will stop flashing in the presence of excessive bright light. So the species, the male and females, will stop communicating with each other, so they can't find each other to mate and reproduce. So the population would eventually dwindle down and die off. These factors interfere with their ability, of course, to find mates and survive. Scientists are researching how to further protect these insects and their habitats, and they're relatively understudied compared to many other insects. This is because they're not a significant pest or pollinator within the agricultural world, so there's less of a direct human impact. However, many people want to preserve just the natural beauty that these insects bring to the world.